global audience present here today. Welcome to a fresh chapter of the Turing Boundaryless Series. I'm your host, Alina Khan, and I am a content specialist at Turing.com. And today I'm very happy to have with me today Natalia Yuki, who is joining us from Munich. I would like everybody here to put your hands together for the amazing guest that we have here today. Natalia Yuki leads the LATAM Supply Ops division at Turing as the Director of Strategy and Ops. Before Turing, she's led teams at Allianz and BCG as strategic consultant for more than 8 years. And today we learn more about her journey, her role at Turing, and her vision for the Supply Ops team for the LATAM division. So first of all, Natalia, I would like to say that it's a pleasure to have you here with us. I'm really happy to be hosting you today. And thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Alina, for having me.
Okay, that sounds amazing, Natalia. But before we begin, I would like to know more about you and your journey, in strategy ops. I'm sure our audience would love to know more about that as well. So you've led teams before at Allianz and BCG, and at Turing, you're leading the LATAM Supply Ops team, right? Could you please share a bit about your personal story with us? How did it all start?
Yeah, sure, Alina. So actually, I started my career. So I'm originally from São Paulo, Brazil. And I started my career as a strategy consultant with BCG. And then I spent the vast majority of my path there. I was almost for 7.5 years. I did all types of clients from consumer goods, oil and gas, education. And I think it really gave me a really good base as a professional. And after the BCG, I also led a team in a diagnostic medicine company. And then I moved to Allianz. And that's why now I'm based in Munich. So Allianz, it's an insurance company that it's based in Munich. So I decided to change my life to this new country. And then Turing kind of entering my life in a really good moment. And I think it was a perfect fit because I completely consider myself someone that it's from the world. I lived in more than 7 countries already, and Turing, because it's 100% remote, it's a global company. You have people from all over the world working for Turing. It really fits. It really fit my my life purpose and also my way of living my lifestyle. So I think it was a great opportunity for me.
That sounds like a really amazing story, Natalia. And I think, as I can see from your background, it says boundaryless. I think Turing is building boundarylessly from everywhere, right? Okay, now I think the best note to start this discussion would be to get to understand more about your role at Turing, right? So you're heading the LATAM supply division at Turing and of strategy ops. So your work seems to cater to the LATAM division primarily, right? I'm curious to know why that is the case.
Yes. So let me start explaining what is supply inside of Turing. So as you know, Turing, we are connecting software developers with really good clients, US-based or like world-based. And our main goal internally with all the supply teams is to gather and find those really good software developers all over the world and try to find them a really good job position. So supply has several teams working on it. So from a growth team, so we have a performance marketing growth team working on sharing ads, working on Google ads, YouTube, to make sure that developers will know our brand, will understand what is Turing all about. We also have a team that is the product team. So when the developers go to our website and they go through the vetting process, it's all the product team they are building the whole platform to make sure that we are getting the right developers to our database. And then we also have data science team that is helping us with analysis and insights of what is going on, like where we can find specific types of developers, what are the different developers that are coming to our platform. And in supply operations, our main goal is to, one, work with the developer along their journey. So once a developer sign up in our platform, they have to go through a series of steps and stages, right? And sometimes this can be a bit overwhelming. Sometimes the developer doesn't really understand like what is Turing about, what I'm gonna get with this. So the supply operations, so specifically the talent engagement team, we reach out to developers, we offer them welcome calls, we offer them all the support to guarantee that they really understand why Turing would be a good fit for them, and also what are the steps for them to become a vetted Turing developer. And we also have a strategic sourcing team, which is basically a team of headhunters that when you have very specific jobs from clients, sometimes it's really, really hard to find that specific profile. So we have a team of headhunters that go to the market and they try to find this really special developer to bring to Turing, and then to give them a perfect match with one of our clients. So in a nutshell, this is basically with what all the supply teams are working on.
That sounds really awesome. And to be honest, it's, it's an eye opener for me to see how many separate subsections we have of strategy ops, right? And on that note, I'd like to point out that at BCG, you were leading the team as a strategic consultant, right? And here you are the director of strategy ops, which sounds different. So how different has your experience at Turing been?
Actually, it's quite different. I think one thing is for you to be a consultant that, you are sharing and developing insights to the client, but it's never on your side to make decisions or to take action. It's on the client side, right? I think the difference in Turing is that here, everything that we think, everything that we have an insight, everything that the team come up with a proposal, these things we have to translate into action and translate into impact to the organization. So Turing, it's growing like crazy in the past years. And this is because we have like teams working really hard to make the growth happen, right? And while working for a company such as BCG really helped me to gain these very special skills, I think now I'm using all those skills to really be in a position of implementing, making decisions, taking the call, choosing the path together with my team to be able to really have an impact in Turing's growth and in Turing's future. So I think it's different, but it's complementary.
Of course. And to be able to leave an impact from a leadership position, I think that speaks for itself, and that plays a very, very important role, especially in a position like that of strategy ops. Right. Now let us dive deep into strategy ops at Turing. So you've talked about the various subsections that strategy ops at Turing has, and you've talked about Turing's focus of sourcing and building supply in the LATAM region, right? Could you tell us more about the supply team at Turing, and what strategies are we using to source the right candidates to our customers?
Okay, so at Turing, once developers sign up to our platform, they have to go through this vetting process, right? And during this process, we ask them for several information, such as their resume, their job experience. They have to write a little bit about, what were the different projects that they supported. Also, they have to take some specific skills tests. So if a developer knows Python or React, Node, Golang, they have to take specific tests on those skills. And also they have to go through an automated coding challenge. So actually code live. And after they go through all those steps, they become a vetted developer, right? In this way, by collecting all those types of information, we are able to, see, okay, what is the level of this developer technically, but also we have specific tests in terms of English level, communication level, and also we try to understand what is the dev requirements in terms of what is the type of technology that they want to work with, what would be the kind of job that would be happy with, and their compensation, how much they are willing to, how much they want to get from this job. So collecting all those informations really help us to be able to match the right developer with the right job position.
Yeah, sounds super interesting, and I'd like to add to what you've said that the kind of tests and the kind of assessments that we have here at Turing are really to the point, and they really help us judge who the right candidate is and whether or not the developer actually has the kind of experience that's required for the job, right? So Natalia, the developer marketing and community team also plays a very important role, a very crucial role in engaging and bringing developers to the Turing platform, right? Can you elaborate a little more on that? And how does brand awareness and overall engagement with the developer community help in sourcing and building the LATAM supply?
Yeah, sure. So developers marketing plays a key role in building, of course, Turing's brand all over the world. So as you guys know, like we are early stage startup. We started in 2018. So we still have to make people know about us, make people understand what is Turing all about. And specifically in LATAM, I think it's not only about getting to know Turing, the name and the brand Turing, but also getting to know what Turing is all about. Like, what is our value proposition? How is the different job model that we are working with, which is a bit different from the used what the developers in Latin America are used to. So for them to understand how is the work, like how it is to work remotely from like Brazil or Argentina to a company based in the US. So everything is so new in this region that development marketing plays not only a role in building the brand, but also informing and communicating what is our value proposition for the developer. And community also brings a lot of content to this network of developers, because it's not just about bringing them to our platform and making them sign up, but it's also about being a company that's really caring about the developer's career and about their development. So if you're a developer with like maybe 1 or 2 years of experience, or even if you are like a more experienced developer, you can join our Turing community. And we have like offers of courses, offers of, like how can you excel on a job interview, and what are the different skills that now are actually like growing in terms of demand. You can learn more about like the technical side. You can learn more about the communications and soft skills side. And you can also like meet a lot of other software developers to exchange tips, to exchange knowledge, exchange experience with Turing. So this is something that our Turing developers that they're already working with our clients, they really like to exchange and say how their experience have been. And most of them, I think everybody like it's super happy with their current jobs, and they are super happy to share this with the new developers coming. And so we are not just offering just a job, but actually we are trying to build this community of developers to really make them feel part of something, fit to build their skill. They play a key role, not just on like growing awareness, but also growing the developers in their own careers. Yeah.
I actually agree a lot on that, Natalia. I'm sure you must have heard this a lot many times in Turing as well. And we always say that once a developer joins Turing, they'll never have to look for another job opportunity ever again. And that is the main purpose of what Turing is doing. That's the bigger picture. We want to build a community of developers such that they have amazing job space in the US and they never have to look for another opportunity, right? Because we are providing them everything that they need and that they're looking for. On that note, as a director of as a director of strategy and ops at Turing, I'm sure you'd have a vision of what the supply ops team would look like years down the line, right? So could you share what your vision looks like with us?
Yeah, sure. I think that my vision to supply is actually become something that it's organic, like something that the developer community and the Turing developer community, it's so healthy and so rich that we are going to grow by, other developers referring Turing, and all the developers really wanting to be a Turing developer. And this is, I think that it's what we are aiming for. We are aiming to deliver the best experience for developers, and then really being the main partner for their careers. So it's kind of, we really want to be the top of mind company to support them since the beginning, or in in a later stage, with their careers, with their development, to become the best what they want to themselves and to their careers.
Of course, and I'm sure that we're going to achieve that super soon. And we're going to be the go-to company for all developers. If any developer has to apply for a software job and is looking to work in the US, then they'll definitely be looking at Turing.com, right? That's what we're looking at.
Yes.
Now, Natalia, it seems like you're working with 4 different teams, each looking at different ways and means for sourcing the right candidates. We've talked about a few of these before as well. But one major challenge here, I believe, comes with handling a globally distributed team. And that is when you have to ensure effective communication and collaboration, right? How do you manage and ensure communication between teams, especially in a remote team like ours?
Yes, Alina, this is a very interesting question. So for me, I believe that are 2 key topics to guarantee an effective collaboration in a remote setting. First, it's having high alignment with your team, high alignment of objectives, high alignment of where we want to achieve, where we want to get, what we want to achieve. And second, is giving the team high autonomy, right? So if you empower your team, if they are very aligned where you want to get, if they know, I think that the best thing is to give them, empower them and give them autonomy to define the tasks and do the job. So for me, those 2 things are very important. And also having a very transparent and effective communication, in the sense that it's always good to over communicate. And not always being doubt if you're actually communicating something in the right way, or if the other person really understood you. So always try to when in doubt, always try to over communicate. And I think the last point would be really use the tools that we currently have in the world. So it's 2022, and the work environment has evolved a lot. So yeah, like tools such as Zoom, Google Docs, like all the Google environment, Google Sheets, and so on, and also Slack are tools that are really, really important for our day-to-day. And really gives us speed and gives us a way to always be very aligned on what we are doing, what are the priorities, and what are the changes. Because it's things happen so fast that those tools, they help us to be in the loop and in the same speed. So I think for me, those 4 points are key for an effective collaboration, communication in this remote setting.
I absolutely agree with all of those points, especially about the fact that you need to over communicate with people around you in a remote setting. At times, it gets, it gets lonely, I would say, for the lack of a better word, when you're working remotely, when you don't have people around you. But when you over communicate with people, when you over communicate with your managers, with your teammates, things get easy, and you understand that, you're working with a team that's globally distributed. You're working with people from all around the world, and that in itself is an amazing experience, I would say.
Yeah.
Right. And you've also mentioned, a few tools that we use in our day-to-day lives to make our lives easier. And to add to my previous question, I would like to ask more about that. So, what are your favorite tools? You mentioned Zoom, Slack, and a couple of other Google apps as well. So, which ones do you use the most?
For sure, Slack is something that we are always using for several needs. So of course, like communicating with your team, but I think what is really good about Slack is that Slack it's connected or it has some integration with several other applications. So we can easily send a Zoom link through Slack chat. We can easily send or share documentations. We can easily share, the Google Sheets or Google Docs through Slack. We can have like different teams chat or different channels. So they also have this system of notifications that I think it's really good. So for me, I think Slack it's very well-rounded and really help us in our day-to-day life with all these, new tools in the cloud and a fast-paced kind of environment. So yeah.
I actually like Slack a lot as well. Like you mentioned, it has really made it easier for me to have Zoom conversations because you just need to type in Zoom and then you'll just get a link. You don't have to go to the Zoom application, create a meeting, and then send the link, which is a lot of hassle in itself, to be honest. Um, and Natalia, I think this was a very, very interesting session. I had a lot of fun talking to you. But to wrap things up, what would your final tips be for leaders in strategy and ops who are managing globally distributed teams remotely like ours at Turing?
Yes, of course, Alina. I think I would give two tips. One, really listen to your team. They are the ones working the day-to-day, they know the nitty-gritty of the processes and the operation sides. They are the ones, in contact most of the time with the client. So they always know what is the best opportunity to go after, what is something that we need to focus right away. So for sure, listen a lot to your team. And the second thing I would say is be very open to change. Be very open that that the market will change very fast all the time. You have to be flexible and be able to adapt really quickly to different scenarios. Sometimes we try one thing, we try an MVP and it doesn't work, and that's fine. We just have to keep the motivation and engagement and be very clear where we want to get. But things will not work, things will change. So I think this part of the operations and strategy, like the nowadays type of strategy job.
That's absolutely That's absolutely correct. The way things have been changing is so fast. We never know what's going to happen next. So it's very important for all of us to, adapt to change quickly and always expect that something is going to come our way. So let's be ready beforehand. Thank you, Natalia, for being a part of this amazing conversation and for speaking about strategy ops. It was amazing learning about you and your experiences with strategy ops and how you are building strategy ops at Turing. So it's been a really amazing conversation. Thank you so much, and I really look forward to speaking with you again.
Me too, Alina. Thank you so much for having me. I had really good fun, and yeah, let's see each other again.